Michigan Wolverines travel to Wrigley Field to take on the Northwestern Wildcats this Saturday at noon, 11 a.m. Central Time kickoff for Northwestern. This will be a Fox Big Noon kickoff game, which I think just shows you the state of the current Big Ten TV deal. No bueno. Not good. But this game, with Michigan being favored by 12.5 points, 7-2 record, 5-1 in Big Ten play, Northwestern's 5-4, 3-3, has an opportunity to be an entertaining game. Michigan has not performed well on the road. Michigan is not this invincible team. They are a team in kind of a rebuild year. And Northwestern is this really, I would put it in a way that they're this feisty operation that's just hard to beat. They are a tough out for any team that is not invincible, and Michigan isn't invincible. So let's take a look at Michigan. Why do I view them as a team that's good but not great, and why could they be vulnerable here? Well, look at their road games. So Oklahoma, they lost by 11. Nebraska, they beat by 3. That was probably one of their more impressive wins of the year. USC, they lose by 18 points. Michigan State, they beat by 11, and it was a very slow-paced, ugly game. There are some exceptions to this rule. So Nebraska was an impressive win on the road. Purdue was a pretty bad win at home, 21-16. Michigan is good. They have a chance to win out and beat Northwestern, beat Maryland, to beat Ohio State, go 10-2. If they're 10-2, they're a lock for the playoffs. There is a much higher chance of that happening than a lot of people believe. But also, look at the schedule, look at where the losses are, where the wins are. Michigan's schedule also has aligned for them quite nicely. So while I think they're a 7-2 caliber team, they're a top 20 caliber team, maybe top 15, with how college football operates right now, and with how Northwestern has played some of their opponents, if you're not top 10, and if you play the way Michigan does, where you do not have the capability of getting up big on teams because of your limited skill position talent, a team like Northwestern is not a safe out for you. Northwestern lost to Oregon. Final score was really 34-14, 34-0. They scored 14 points in garbage time. Lost to Tulane pretty big, but Tulane's one of the better G5 teams. Beaten UCLA, beat Penn State on the road, shut out Purdue, beat UL Monroe at home pretty soundly. Played Nebraska in a close game, and they kept it close with USC at the half, and that was on the road. So they have a little bit of an extra day of rest to prepare against Michigan, though Michigan's also coming off of a bye. So both these teams get a little bit longer time than they're used to prepare for this game. Northwestern staff, I thought, did a pretty good job off the bye in that first half against USC. Just things fell out of control. And this will be at Wrigley Field, neutral site game. It's not as much of a trap game for Michigan because of that. Their practice facility on the Great Lakes is a very hard place to get up for and play inspired ball in. It's windy, it's weird, it's quiet, it's not a normal environment. Wrigley Field should alleviate some of that for Michigan, but Northwestern is a strong team in the trenches. I respect their staff, and they could present some problems for Michigan. I think the biggest problem they could present for the Wolverines is their defensive front is their strength. Their secondary is their weakness. Michigan, do they have the receiver and quarterback chemistry? Do they even have the talent at receiver if Underwood plays a good game to really exploit that? I don't know. Odds probably say no, they don't. But I don't exactly know the answer to that. Caleb Komolafe has been incredible in his vision, in his power, in his ability to break tackles. I love Jackson Carcello, Caleb Tiernan, Martez Lewis. It's an offensive line that is appropriately sized for the Big Ten, that's strong, that doesn't give up. They do a good job in really all phases of the game. Northwestern's issue is similar to Michigan's. They only have one, maybe two competent receivers, and they don't always connect well with the QB. And they are, that's really all the similarities. Michigan's younger, but Michigan's also much more talented and probably better at every position, offensively and most positions defensively. For Northwestern defensively, Anto Saka, Michael Kilbane, and then safety Robert Fitzgerald are some players to pay attention to. Defensive end Aiden Hubbard, pay attention to him. They have a nice rotation of pass rushers. I'm curious to see how Michigan holds up in the passing attack against this Northwestern passing defense and pass rush. Speaking of that, it will be imperative for Bryce Underwood to play a clean game, to not turn it over the way he did against Purdue, and to be patient, and to not try to solely focus on scoring points, but focus more so on moving the ball to be in a position to where it's not all on you. This channel will make you a college football expert and help you enjoy watching games and make more accurate predictions. So what are you waiting for? Like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, comment your thoughts, and watch the video all the way through so that you can get the full package. And check the description and pinned comment for more ways to help yourself and this channel. And you and the offense can split duties, move the football, and put yourself in a position to score. I feel like against Purdue, he was trying to do too much. And with the supporting cast he has and the fact he's a true freshman and needs more development, that is not a good position for him to be in. Center Greg Crippen, running back Jordan Marshall, and then some offensive linemen, Giovanni El-Hadi, Nathan Afabi, Blake Frazier, Andrew Sprague. Pay attention to them. This is an offensive line that has come on its own over the past few weeks. It is a Joe Moore Award semifinalist, which sort of made me scratch my head a little bit, but upon looking at grades and remembering how well they've ran the ball ever since that USC game, and even before Haynes went out, they were running the ball effectively in that USC game. A lot of that has to do with not just their running backs, but their offensive line getting consistent push, and they've done a really good job protecting Bryce Underwood this year, which is impressive. So it's an offensive line that's among one of the nation's best, despite how young it is, outside of center, and I think it's left guard is where Giovanni El-Hadi is playing. Defensively, it's all Rayshawn Benny, Jayshawn Barham if he's healthy, linebacker Cole Sullivan if he's healthy. If not, Ernest Hausman, Derek Moore, some other great players in that Michigan front. The quarterback comparison here is a big reason why I'm actually going with Michigan to win. Michigan is a team where you look at week 2, where they lost to Oklahoma. You look at their loss to USC. Having inferior quarterback play in those games was a big part of the reason why they lost, and they lost big. Here, it's a trap spot. It's a spot that I don't like for the Wolverines, but also Preston Stone is one of the worst quarterbacks in the Power 4. Underwood's had some struggles, but he's not one of the worst. And combining that with a talent edge and Michigan coming off the bye and probably being healthy leads me to believe that Michigan here is going to win and Michigan's going to cover. Now, will they blow Northwestern out? Will it be over by halftime? I don't think so, but for how Northwestern has been offensively challenged and how Michigan has been able to score a baseline of 20 points just by running the football, and they should be healthier here, and I have a hard time seeing Underwood having another Purdue-level game. I do think they can get to a 14-point margin of victory somewhat comfortably. So I do like Michigan here to win. I like them to cover. Looking at the keys to the game and some matchups we'll get to in a few seconds here, whatever line of scrimmage comes out on top, that's going to be a deciding factor. Michigan, I think, has that checked off pretty easily. The power run game is something that I would have favored Northwestern in maybe a few weeks ago or definitely over a month ago, but Michigan's improved at that as the season's gone on. Reliable wide receiver 1, Northwestern has that in Griffin Wilde, but Donovan McCulley and Andrew Marsh are both capable of that. So shockingly, Michigan might have a better duo at wide receiver than Northwestern does. As for ball security, Michigan wins the turnover margin more often than Northwestern. Northwestern's going to have to change that if they want to win here. And as for run defense, Northwestern's not particularly effective at stopping the run. Michigan is not as good as they were last year, but they're much more effective than the Wildcats in that manner. I just think so much goes to Michigan here to where even with, at this point, I believe David Braun is a better game manager than Sherrone Moore. Michigan's going to come out. They're going to win. They're going to cover. And as for the Big Ten standings, it keeps Michigan alive in the college football playoff and Big Ten championship game race. Michigan is to win out to participate in either of those. A 9-3 Michigan, I don't think gets in. Maybe there's a world if they beat Ohio State, but I think they have to win out to get in the Big Ten championship game and the college football, obviously the Big Ten championship game, but the college football playoff. They can get to the Big Ten championship game if they win out and if both USC and Oregon take an additional loss. If Oregon wins out, I'll have to fact check this, but if it is a three-way tie, given the strength of conference schedules, Big Ten schedules, among only Big Ten games, I think Oregon might get in Indy if they, Michigan, and Ohio State win out. But I'm unsure of that. That hasn't been sorted out who has the tougher schedule between those three yet if it results in a three-way tie. But as for this game, Michigan wins, they cover, they'll move on to Maryland, and then after that game, if they win it, move on to Ohio State to determine whether or not they can reach the playoffs and the Big Ten championship game. Thank you for watching. It's my mission on College Football with Sam to make you the most informed, knowledgeable, and entertained fan as possible. We aren't perfect, but we hit the nail on the head more often than we hit our thumb with the hammer. Make sure to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, comment, and if you're here, you've probably already watched the whole video. So thank you for doing those things.